Well, hello and welcome to my gallery again. I just love saying that. So this is Tuesday. This is our fourth full day. It's about halfway through the fourth day. Things are going very well. I'm really pleased with this, and it's really got me excited and thinking about things going forward. But I'm going to wait to do kind of a recap until the whole week is over. What I'm going to talk about today is using the brushes that I use to block in my composition, and how I think about composition when I'm blocking it in a piece. So stick around and we'll get to that. Okay, so I'm going to start blocking in the composition on this piece, and I've got a few minutes of quiet here. It's actually been fairly busy today with people in, so I apologize. I haven't been doing my daily vlog on a daily basis, but it's been very busy, and when I add to that an hour and a half commute in and an hour and a half commute home, yeah, there just hasn't been time to do the vlog every day. So I'll be out of here. Tomorrow's my last day, and then we should be back pretty good after that. So here's my reference photo. It's no surprise, the sun shining through the trees. What I really like about this one though is that combination of the reds and the golds together with these greeny golds of the evergreen trees. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about the brushes that I use. So I use hog hair bristle brushes. These are kind of fairly cheap but well made. So the art store that I go to up here, the brand that's very big in Ontario is called Curry's, and this is just their Curry's brand brush. It's probably one of the most inexpensive brands in the store, but I just really like it for what I do. And I don't treat these brushes as being something very precious. So you can see here, this brush is worn down almost to a nub, and that's actually the kind of brushes I like to do branches. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that and show you how I use these brushes to do branches. So I have a number of these brushes where they all have paint clogged in them, and they're fairly stiff. So I take that and kind of move the easel with it. It's kind of hard as a rock, but it's still just slightly absorbent. It'll take just a little bit of paint. And what I love about brushes at this stage is I can use the brush to draw. If I take a fairly new brush that doesn't have paint dried in it and it's fairly soft, if I go to draw with that, it's going to give me a line that goes thin, thick, thin, thick. It's going to be very floppy and hard to maneuver. And when I draw my branches, when I paint my branches, I want to be using a tool that allows me actually to kind of draw with the paint, where it behaves more like a pen or a pencil or a piece of charcoal. So I'm actually painting with fluid acrylic in black, and the beauty of these types of brushes, it allows me to make the stroke that goes from thick to thin just by varying the pressure on the brush. So for example, if I want to have a branch come from here and down here, I push fairly hard at the start, and as I lighten up on the brush, then the branch gets thinner. Actually, this paint is kind of too thick. I had the paint squeezed out, and then there was people in here talking to me for a while. So I just squeezed some fresh paint out. The paint was kind of clumpy. Okay, let's try that again. Yeah, so that's okay. But as I come in here and make these branch strokes, I'm going to start at the thin end of the branch by pressing lightly at the start, and then gradually pressing harder and turning the brush. I can make that branch go from thin, gradually get thicker until it joins the tree. And again, there's going to be a number of these thick branches coming off here. By pressing hard and then lightening up and coming off, turning the edge, again, it just gives me the ability to create a stroke that totally mimics the nature of a branch, just by adjusting the pressure of how hard I'm pressing on this. And it looks, again, this looks very much more like drawing than painting. And I just really, really like the nature of that type of stroke. And also if you speed up the stroke, then it kind of skips and makes it go a little lighter. So these old brushes, and the only way to get these like this is to have some paint dry in them. So I'm lucky that, again, I paint every day. These brushes go from new brushes that I'm using with oils to slightly worn down to ones that I've used it to block in paintings, and then they just have more and more paint in them until when they get totally filled with paint, and then I don't really use them. But it actually takes a while to get a brush to have enough paint in it that it works really good for this. And the proof is in the pudding just when you try it. If it doesn't have enough paint dried in it yet, it'll still be kind of flimsy and flop around on it, and I don't like that. And here, I'm not actually going exactly by my photo. I'm looking at it from time to time to give me the kind of feel of it, of the actual image, but I'm going by composition, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to avoid concentric curves, so a curve that follows another. I'm trying to avoid parallel lines. I'm trying to avoid tangents where two things come together. I either want them to miss or I want them to overlap. And I'm just looking at ways that I can break up the space. So while this is informed by a photo that kind of inspires it, it's not going to be a copy of that photo. And certain lines or shapes that I see in my reference photo that I like, I will keep. Certain ones I will discard, and then certain things I'll be noticing on the actual painting itself that something a space needs to be broken up. Or like here, for example, we have a big wide open area. It's like, what's going to go in there? Well, I think a couple diagonals, but not. So if I do one at this angle, I'm going to do another one. I don't want it parallel to that. I want it either kind of coming away this way or coming in. And I think by coming in closer here, I just like the look of that. That helps guide the eye back up here. And there's going to be a lot of these little thin vertical pine trunks in here. And again, you're just going to break up the space. I just like the look of it. But yeah, I'm doing these fairly quickly. Again, so there's a good example of a tangent. I brought that line just up to that branch. It would be better if it goes past the branch, because that looked like it could have been something falling off that branch. Now we can see that they're two different things. And we've got some pine boughs coming in from this direction. Again, I want to avoid parallels. And down here it's obviously way too open. So, and this is about how fast I would do this. You can see I'm not actually rendering this very, very tightly. And that's also the beauty of these types of brushes. Once you get used to using these like this, it is just like drawing with a piece of charcoal. So I don't have to think about either turning the brush or varying the pressure or the speed of the brush. That just happens naturally because I've done these so many times. I've used these brushes for so long. And that's the kind of thing that just comes with practice. And I also know these type of gestural strokes of branches, generally if you do them fast like this, they look more branch-like. If you go really slow and draw it, it just looks like a really awkward, wobbly line. And I want it to look branch-like, even though I'm not actually rendering branches. I'm not composing with line and shape. but I'm composing with lines that are suggestive of branches. And actually, getting pretty close to all of the linear work that I need to do here, because there's going to be a lot of leaves and fairly big leaf shapes in here. Just need a few more verticals here. I'm also trying to get this done because we've got a bit of a window with nobody in the gallery, and it's also getting close to 5 o'clock. And I know yesterday that's when things kind of got really busy as people were coming here after work. So I'd like to get this acrylic branch block-in done so that I can then squeeze some oils out and get some oil done today on this. I've actually finished, it's worked out really well because I finished the little piece that I'm going to do a raffle for. So everybody that's purchased a painting here at the show is going to have their name entered into a raffle for that 18 by 18. But I also completed another 18 by 18 yesterday, and I've actually already got a couple of inquiries on Facebook about buying it, so we'll see how that goes. And then I would really love it if I could finish this piece by tomorrow, because the whole idea of having a gallery, it's always kind of appealed to me, but I always thought it was going to be way too much work and take too much time away from painting. But when I look at this week, I've actually been able to get about 5 hours of painting done each day when I've been down here. And that's about all I usually manage when I'm at home. So the thought now of potentially be thinking about down the road at some point having a permanent gallery space is actually becoming more and more appealing. Again, depending on the space, this space we've got here, it's beautiful, first of all. But again, it felt a little awkward the first couple days just because it was new, but I feel at home here, just like it's at home in my studio. And I really like the idea of people just dropping in. And so we've had sales every day. We've sold a number of originals, we've sold a number of the small open edition prints, and we've sold a number of the limited edition. We even sold a big 4 foot by 6 foot diptych of the limited edition. So the sales have been, fairly steady. And I think the one thing that I wish was that, we were going to be here longer. I'm getting a lot of people who are just dropping in, again, with no intent or idea of buying art, but seeing the sign in the window coming in and being very, very impressed with the work, but then asking how long we're going to be here because their spouse is not available on the next day or so, but then we're going to be packed up and out of here. So the thought of having a space permanently set up is actually kind of more appealing to me now than I would have thought. So we're back here for a month in December, the entire month of December. And so we'll see how an entire month goes. But if this, again, if I still keep feeling this way, then I definitely, I'm going to be looking at the possibility, maybe one day in the next few years, potentially opening my own gallery in a permanent space. Because I am actually really enjoying being down here. And again, for the fact that this space was not the Tim Packer Gallery until Friday night, we're only here for 5 days. We are getting a fair bit of traffic, and it's people that are coming because of my social media posting, because of Facebook. So I've been posting live every day as I work on paintings. We're doing a number of picture posts, but that's actually drawing people here and drawing people from quite a ways away. So the thought of potentially having a permanent gallery, especially something maybe where there is a high amount of walk-by traffic of people who potentially would buy art, which is not really the case here. This is this is kind of more, I don't know, it's not a rundown area, but it's also not a very upscale area. It's kind of in the middle, and it does not have a lot of foot traffic of people just shopping. People that are going by are going from point A to point B. But I think something like this in Toronto, in a place that had a fair bit of pedestrian traffic where shopping was going on, could be really, really effective. So I'm thinking about that, and I'm sure nothing's going to happen soon. We'll see how December goes for the entire month. So that's pretty much this blocked in. So again, these bristle brushes, when they get worn down just from rubbing on the canvas, from painting hours and hours and hours, and then they get paint dried in, they're beautiful for drawing trees and drawing branches. So I'm going to call this now, and I hope to be posting tomorrow, but again, it depends how busy I am down here. But we will in fact do a kind of recap on how the week went. So as always, if you like this, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate your comments and questions. Yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm getting out of practice because I haven't done this in a couple days. And I'm Tim Packer, and I thank you for your time. I'll see you next time.